Good evening, YouTube world. I'm your host, Paul Italia. If you haven't already, please click that subscribe button. And if you're feeling this content, smash that thumbs up button. So I just wanted to get a quick question out to my subscribers out there. I've been thinking about doing a weekly recap of what went on in the arm wrestling world, and I would be doing that every Friday. So I just wanted to guys your thoughts on that. What would you guys think? Do you think that's a good idea? Should I start doing the weekly recap of all the news that's been going on in the arm wrestling community? Just please put your answer below. With that being said, I'd like to introduce tonight's guest, and he is a very special one. He could possibly hold the best left arm on this planet. His name is Kody Merritt. Welcome, Kody. How are you tonight, brother?
I'm doing great, Paul. Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
I want to first start off, and I just want to get your basic stats. I want to start off with your age, weight, and current, and your height, and your current weight, I meant to say.
Okay. Well, I am 48 years old. I'm about 6'2", 6'2" and a half, somewhere in there. Current weight is morbidly obese. Somewhere around the 350-ish. I've been down to 336, and then had surgery a little while ago and went up to about 360, and I'm kind of on my way back down right now. So right around the 350 mark.
And that'll be where you'll be competing at, is around the 350 mark, or where is your sweet spot?
I don't know. I've been as heavy as 405 pounds. I didn't really care for that. And I'm not really trying to lose weight. It's just my body's doing what it's doing. And as long as I stay strong and feel strong, I'm okay with it. So I don't necessarily care what my weight is, to be quite honest with you.
Do you see any difference at the larger weight? Do you have any more power, or is there any benefits to that, or no, not really?
I don't. I think I'm as strong now as I've ever been. So I don't necessarily think that the being bigger has helped me in that regard. I weighed about 380-ish when I won my world championship, and I feel like I'm stronger now than I was then. So I don't necessarily believe that being bigger has helped me that much. I know that being smaller has helped with my endurance better. I don't get gassed as easily at the table as I did before.
You said you won your world champion. What year was that, and how many world champion titles have you won?
So I won the world championship in 2019, and I actually won the Masters division and the seniors, which is the open division, in the same year. So if you count the Masters, I've got 2 world titles. If you just go off of seniors, then just 1 world title.
And that is with your left hand, correct?
Yes. I took 3rd right-handed in the Masters in 2019. So I have, there's only been like 3 or 4 people ever that I know of that have won a Masters world title and a seniors world title in the same year. Ron Bath is one of them. I believe that Ingen Tiersey is one of them, and there might be 1 or 2 others. So there's a very small amount of people that have ever done that, and I feel very honored to be part of that group.
That is some title to be around with those names you just mentioned, real legends. And just for my subscribers out there, I got to explain to you guys what it means to be a world champion. This is the top level of our sport. There is no higher than this. There's many different levels. You know, you got your elite level, and then you got your world-class level, which is, you know, the next one above that. So just so you guys understand what caliber of an arm wrestler we're talking about here. Kody, where do you currently live?
I live in northern Utah, a little town called Mendon. It's my wife grew up in this town, and it's a great little community. We don't even have a convenience store or anything here. It is a small community and very tight knit, and kind of in the country. I love it. I don't like being in the city that much. I'm kind of a country boy, and that's the way I like it.
Very nice. And do you have a population of pullers in the area?
So in northern Utah, well, I've got about, I would guess about 10 to 15 people that come to my practice every week. It's part of Team Spur Arm Wrestling. So roughly that much, but then we've got a couple other clubs in the Ogden, Roy area, which is about 40 minutes south of me. And then obviously Bob Brown's got his practice in Salt Lake, and he's got the biggest group. I'm guessing he probably gets about 30 people a week at his place. And on occasion, we drive down there maybe once every other month just to get to hold different people's hands, just to, branch out and feel different people here and there.
So it sounds like you have a very solid community to pull with and a lot of hands to grip up with. And that's a very, very important factor in becoming a really great arm wrestler.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anybody that's been in arm wrestling for a while knows that Utah has a very long legacy when it comes to arm wrestlers and really good arm wrestlers. Team Utah has always been a force to be reckoned with. And at one point we had John here. John Brezink lived in Utah. When I started in arm wrestling, I used to go to Bill Brezink's, John's little brother's house to train every week. Back then, I didn't even know who they were, but I figured out they were super strong really quick. But we've had the Brezink brothers. We've had Kevin Bongard lives in Utah. Obviously, Bob Brown, who is, if you ask me, the best arm wrestling coach on the planet. He is the one I give credit to knowing how to arm wrestle. If it wasn't for Bob Brown, I don't think I would be where I am today. We've got him. We've got people like Jordan Sill, Robert Baxter, who is talking about world championships. He's going to compete for his 7th in a row this year, Masters Championship. Wow. At the World Championship. He's a bad dude, right-handed. I actually have a super match with him coming up in July, right-handed with Robert Baxter. So that'll be interesting. He's got a lot more wins on me than I've got on him. And matter of fact, he's the one that got me into the sport 25 plus years ago.
So Kody, let me ask you, when in July is it, and who is the promotion in charge of that?
So it's Justin Green. People around the Western United States probably know who he is. He's a very accomplished right-handed arm wrestler, got a super big hand for a 220-pound guy, very strong, but he is very passionate about suicide awareness. And he does this tournament every year at the Rainbow Saloon in Roy, Utah. And they do it's a fundraiser to go toward suicide awareness. Justin years ago lost his brother to suicide, and it's a very dear and tender thing to him. So it's very important that we do a lot for that tournament. It's actually cash prizes that he gives out to, not a lot, but I want to say first place is 150 or $200. I can't remember. And it's July 16th. I want to say it is Saturday, the 16th in July.
All right. So everybody check that out. It's going down in Roy, Utah. Justin Green is putting it on. It's going to be a great cause. So everybody, if you're in that area, definitely get over there and show your support. Sounds like it's going to be a pretty amazing event, and you'll get to see Kody pulling live and in person, which is always a great thing to do.
Yeah, well, there's a couple super matches of interest. Me and Robert Baxter, if you want to see a couple old fat guys pulling right-handed, there's that one. Jordan Sill has a match with John Islander from the Vegas area.
Oh, very nice.
John Islander's, he's a transplant to the U.S. from Hungary. Really good dude. He's a super heavyweight. He probably outweighs Jordan by 50, 60 pounds. And is a good arm wrestler. I don't think he has enough for Jordan, but those two are going to be arm wrestling. And then we have a female event match as well with a local gal that's up and comer, second generation arm wrestler, and Jolene Anderson. and she's going to be arm wrestling Lisa Wolfley, who used to be a Utah gal that lives in Vegas area now, or St. George area. Can't remember for sure where she's at, but she's down in the St. George or Vegas area now, and she's a legend. She's won multiple world titles as well. So it should be a good card, and then obviously a money tournament on top of that, and they have raffles to earn or don't earn money to go towards the suicide awareness. So it's a really good event, and it's always fun. I'll be doing the brackets and the emceeing, so you can come and say hi and hang out, and we'll have a good time.
Sounds good, man. Really, really great event. January 16th. Everybody check that out.
July 16th.
July 16th. I'm sorry about that. So, Kody, I got to ask you, brother, have you been keeping up with all the buildup going on with this weekend's big event, King of Table 4?
What's that? What was there a match this weekend?
Only the biggest match in arm wrestling history.
Well, I just announced the biggest match. It's Robert Baxter and myself in July.
Well, we'll give you that.
Of course,
that's the big one of North America, but we got the world one going on this weekend, this Saturday, going down June 25th in Dubai. King of Table 4, set up by Larry Wheels and Coresports with the help of Adam Silver.
Yeah, those guys do an amazing job.
Super matches going down. Have you been watching like all the hype up and everything going down with it?
Oh yeah, I try to stay as current as possible with in the community, in the sport, and yeah, I have been. I'm excited to see what's going to happen there. I'm excited about all the matches. Corey West is one of my good buddies. I love that man. He's a great dude, and he's the future of the super heavyweight division in the U.S., in North America, I say in the world. He's just got so much potential to be amazing. And he's a young kid. I love him. He's a good dude. His wife's amazing. They're just good people, and I wish nothing but the best for him. He's arm wrestling Alex Krdetch. Is it Krdetcha or Krdeka? I don't know how to say it.
I say Krdetcha, but I always butcher up names, so I'm probably the worst to do this.
Me too. Anyway, Alex, I've got to talk to him a few times. He's a really good guy as well. If he wasn't arm wrestling Corey or a guy from the U.S., I'd probably be rooting for Alex because I just think he's a great guy. But unfortunately, he's arm wrestling one of my buddies, and I hope he gets destroyed. I think that Corey can do it. I think that Corey is strong enough to control Alex's high top roll, and if that's the case, then he's done. Corey will beat him if he can control that high top roll, which is what Corey does. So I wish him the best of luck, and I can't wait to watch that one for sure.
Well, unfortunately, today I seen on Julie West post on Facebook that their luggage was lost on the way to Dubai, unfortunately. So they're already getting dealt some pretty big obstacles because now they're going to have to find Corey West size clothes in Dubai, which, I hope they make some that fits them.
There's nobody in that whole area that was as big as him. And if they make something from him, it's going to be made out of like diamonds or something. So it's going to be ridiculously expensive.
Well, I was just on with Jerry Cataract, and he told Corey, he said, yo, just grab the king size sheets in the hotel room, wrap yourself in there, man. You'll be good. So what I like to break this match down to is we got a gorilla, that being Corey West, which King Kong is about to be let loose in Dubai, folks. This is no joke. 430 pounds coming into Dubai, and he means business. But he's got his hands full going against this monster, this giant of a Viking. This guy is about 6 foot. What is he, like 6'7", 6'8"?
I want to say 6'8". He's enormous.
He really is. And he's a very, very good arm wrestler. And it's going to be a good match between outside versus inside style pulling. So very interested in that. And I hope that we find some clothes for Corey and, all that works out.
I agree. They're both amazing people. I love them to death. I want Corey to do well. Corey just actually overtook this number 2 spot left-handed in North America. So he and I are bound to meet up here eventually left-handed. And we're looking for a situation where that might happen near the end of the year. So that's something coming up. Corey and I have arm wrestled a few times, and I just love competing with him. He brings out the best in me, and hopefully I do the same for him. But this weekend's right-handed, and I really think Corey has a good chance to win that match.
What do you think the score is going to be?
So I actually think that if Corey stops him in the first match, like if he can control his hand, then Corey wins 3-0. Because it's a best of 5 or best of 6?
Best of 6, I believe.
Okay, so I think that Corey goes 4-0, and if they want to finish it, I don't think Alex. If Corey stops the first match, if Alex can open his hand up and open his wrist up, then it could go the other direction. I think it's going to be a shutout one way or the other, personally.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, because it's just coming down to a question is, can Corey contain that hand? If he could contain him, it's going to be a bad day for Alex. If he can't, for Corey.
Yeah, I agree. And Alex is fast. So that's one of Corey's kryptonites is speed. He's never been a fast hitter. He's always been a contain and catch type of guy. And Alex has always been pretty fast. So that's the if. Can Corey stop that?
Yeah.
So
to your last comment also about that left hand match and all, because I'm staring at the rankings in front of me, and just like you said, you're at number 1 in North America, and right behind you got Corey West, Ryan Espy, Devin Lorette, and Dave Chafee.
yeah.
So we're gonna definitely be watching what goes on with Corey this weekend, but that's a right hand match. But what I wanted to say to you is I know an organization that would definitely want to throw you that super match that you're talking about between you and Corey West, and that's Italia Arm Wrestling Promotions, 100%. So I just want to throw that in there, bro. So when everything slows down and after East versus West and all, and we'll sit down and we can figure out some schedule and see if we can make it work.
Yeah, Corey and I have talked, and we kind of know what we're looking for, and we'd be more than happy to look at the offers and kind of go from there. But yeah, that'd be awesome.
Sounds good, brother. So the next match that I want to touch on going down this weekend is a big one. It's Marcio Barboza is going against Irakli. And this is going to be a good one. The last East versus West 3, Marcio just had an amazing performance, winning both of his matches in very dominant fashion. And Irakli didn't have as good of performance. He got stuck going against Todzilla, and not too many people have a good day when they go against Todzilla. So you can't really hold that against him. But how do you think this is gonna go down, bro? And then the other thing I got to throw in there, man, is unfortunately, us Americans are just having everything thrown at us every time we travel. So he just had his own problem. He was trying to leave. I think it was Monday night, and he was supposed to get to Dubai for Tuesday. So he'd have, good 4 or 5 days in before his event, and he'd get over jet lag. But they just implemented some new thing with the COVID test. It had to be some special COVID test that he didn't know about, and he went and got the quick one, and they didn't accept it. So he had to cancel his flight and had to rebook it 2 days later. So now he's not getting until Thursday morning. And he had this whole formula, planned out to go for the jet lag, and now he's he don't know what's gonna happen. Is jet lag gonna affect him or not? So you got to just keep that factor in mind before you give your predictions and all.
Well, jet lag is a legit thing. For those of you that are watching this and think, oh, it's just an airplane ride and you get off and you get a rest for a little bit and you'd be just fine. That's not how it works. You get there, you're 8, 9, 10 hours different. You're on a completely different schedule, and you're exhausted for like 3 days straight. And then it just takes a minute for that to overcome that. If ever I'm traveling to Europe for arm wrestling, I always show up at least 3 days prior to my match, just because I need to get back on the sleep schedule. I need to rest. I want to take some time, get used to the food. You got to let your body adjust to that change in lifestyle, and it is a real thing. And I did not know that about Marcio, which is too bad, because I think Marcio in this match is the better arm wrestler. Like hands down the better arm wrestler. Irakli is a stud, but I think he's kind of a one-trick pony. He's got a really high posting top roll that is fabulous, but we've seen if you can control that lower part of his hand, with Todd did it just fine. And the thing about Marcio is he can arm wrestle any direction you want him to, and he's really good at all of them. He can high post, top roll. He can dive inside. He'll shoulder press. He'll do all of those in one match because he's just that versatile. So I think that Marcio is the better arm wrestler. I really hope that the jet lag doesn't affect him because I think he can win that match. Numbers wise, I don't know. I'm terrible at predicting numbers, but I do think that Marcio will win that, especially if he's doing okay with the jet lag. If his body can acclimate to the different time.
Is there anything else? Because I know you have a lot of experience with traveling overseas and all, and obviously you're very successful being a world champion. So is there any other tips that you would give them, like as far as when you're actually on the plane? Because I was on Brandon Allen's YouTube channel, which he's a big time power lifter, and he used to go to events all over the world. And, him being a bigger guy in the 300-pound range. And he said, it affects the bigger guys more. And he goes as far as wearing pressurized pants. And, he has a schedule on the plane where every hour he gets up and he walks around and he stretches around and all that. So do you have anything like that as far as your plan?
So yeah, it is tough on big people. And I think it's even tougher on my wife because when we get 2 seats, I take up mine and half of hers. So she's got to squish into like half of a seat just to make it so that we fit together in there. So she's a trooper when we go, and she always goes with me. I hate not having her with me, but yeah, when you're on a plane, it's tough, especially being a bigger dude. And I don't wear pressurized pants. I didn't even know there was such a thing. But Brandon, I'm sure he wears that just to look cool. I don't know. No, Brandon's a good guy. I actually, I do get up. Anytime my legs start getting tired or uncomfortable, I get up and walk around. I mean, it's like 12-hour flight. So I'm up and moving as much as I possibly can. I'll stand up there and just talk to my wife while standing just to get blood flow into my legs. The good thing about those international flights are the planes are really big. So the aisles are comfortable to walk down. You've got the bathroom area where there's some standing room that you can that's the good thing about it. And usually they feed you pretty good food, so you don't go hungry. But we usually have some snacks with us as well so that I can stay going with some sort of a nutrition, keeping nutrients in my body, and I drink a ton of water. And the bad thing about being old, I swear I have like an 80-year-old bladder, so I got to get up to pee every hour anyway. So getting up isn't a big deal. So I do get up and move around just so I don't have issues with my legs when I'm there.
Yeah, I'm definitely, I keep bringing this topic up to all the guys going to East versus West 4 or making that big travel, because this is something we got to prepare for because, I heard a couple of stories of, I think Derek Smith, he got to witness the whole jet lag and it really affected his match. And, I just don't want us Americans going there unprepared. So I'm just trying to, bring up all these topics, figure out the right formula. I'm telling all the guys, guys, when you go there, man, keep a journal exactly what you eat, what you do, everything. And this way, when you're done with this weekend, during your competition, you go back and you could just write exactly what you would change, what you would have did different. And over time, you're gonna develop the perfect formula for you, which works for you.
So when I went over for Worlds, their tournaments start at 9:00 in the morning and go until 9:00 at night. So you have to get set on that schedule, that sleep schedule. With East versus West, I think he's starting them at like 9:00 at night. So you don't necessarily have to like get stuck on the sleeping at night, getting up in the morning. You can actually kind of still stay up late and keep that a little bit of the schedule you got going on sleep wise. But one thing I would suggest is kind of get an idea of when you want to be up and when you want to be at your max for the tournament and kind of set your sleep schedule accordingly. And when you get off the plane, do not go to bed until it would be time for you to go to bed, as in a night's sleep. Because if you get off, go to sleep, you're not fixing your schedule. You've got to set your schedule to be ready for your event.
Okay.
So if that means you're going to sleep from 2:00 in the morning till noon or whatever, then you've got to set that schedule to be that way.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that totally does, bro. I'm taking it all in. This is all really good details that we need to figure out. So back to what do you actually think is going to be the final score between Marcio and Irakli?
Oh, see, that's the thing. I don't know. I think Marcio can win that, and it all comes down to the jet lag situation. I'm going to say 4-2 Marcio, because Marcio, he will lose one and then be able to change his whole approach and come back and just do amazing things. So even if Marcio goes down a couple, you can't really worry about it, because he's got the tools to figure that out and change it up. So I'm going to say Marcio 4-2.
Okay, so you heard it here, folks. 4-2 Marcio, and I'm rooting for that also. So I just wanted to also get your advice and tips on. I'm going to be helping out Jerry Carteret in his corner. I'm also going to be helping out Lachlan Adair. So I just wanted to find out some tips, bro. What is the best thing to do in between rounds when these guys' arms are blown up and all? Any suggestions?
So I actually like massaging them, making sure you've got blood coming out, like doing downward massages down their forearms, trying to push blood back out of their arm, back down to their shoulder area, get that blood out of their forearm. If you've got some sort of I use it's called atomic bomb. I put that on there to get blood flow into my arm before I compete. And it also kind of helps to keep blood flow, keep the arm from blowing up on me. And I put that on before I compete. But if they aren't used to doing that stuff, then I wouldn't force it on them. Because it's like icy hot on steroids. It kind of gives you that hot, cold feeling on your arm. And I love it, but some people can't stand it. So I keep my arm as warm as possible before the event. And after that, I want to keep it. You don't get a lot of rest, so you want to get that blood out of there as soon as possible. Keep it elevated and just get that arm massaged and that lactic acid pushed out.
What do you think of doing squats in between?
So I'm fat and out of shape, so I want to save every bit of energy I can to put it on the table. I'll sit down and just rest with my arm up. I don't want to burn any energy whatsoever in between rounds. I want to save it for arm wrestling. I'm kind of weird, and this might be all in my head, but I don't even eat at a certain time before I compete or while I'm competing, because digesting food takes energy, and I want that energy at the arm wrestling table. So I'm kind of weird about anything like that. If I'm feeling
when is your last meal?
Depending on the event, like if it's going to start at like 1 or 2 in the afternoon, I'll have breakfast around 9, and that's it. I won't eat until after I'm done, after the event's over.
Well, it's going down. You said 9 p.m. at night.
I want to say it's at 9. I would probably have a decent lunch, maybe around 1 or 2, and I wouldn't eat again. That's my personal opinion. I know people that are eating in between matches. I want to save every bit of energy I can to put it on the table. And maybe that's just in my head, but it's what the way I think about it. I'm so weird about things in my head. I don't even have sex 48 hours before I compete. I won't do any of that, because I want all of that energy. I want all that testosterone built up in my body and use it where I need it.
Well, I got to tell you, Kody, that's very smart. And, I used to be into MMA, and I was really big in the fight world. And some of the fighters, excuse me, I used to train under the Gracies. And, what they would do for their training camp is a month before their fight, they would actually leave their wife and the family behind, and they would go to with their team, and they would just train, no sex, no masturbating, no nothing, keeping everything stored up there for a month makes you like a friggin' ticking time bomb. But you know, that is very smart. You want to get all of that testosterone level, everything flying high, and all. So you know,
Yeah.
that's definitely a smart idea. And I got to tell you, Kody, whatever you do, you might say you're weird about, but bro, you're a world champion, brother. You have figured it out. So you
No,
keep doing your weird shit.
it works for me, and I don't know, people might laugh saying, well, he's not going to eat all day, he needs that energy, he needs some nutrition, but I just feel like I'm not going to do that. If at anything at all, I'll take some honey. I'll squeeze some honey in my mouth just to get some quick sugar energy, natural sugars in there. But that's about it. I don't maybe like a Snickers little, like when a little candy bar or something if I need some energy. But that's all I'll do. I won't hardly eat anything, and I try to drink as much water as I can.
Well, just saying, Kody, just from me being in nutrition and in the fitness and all that, what you just said with the best thing you just said is the honey, you know, because
Yeah.
that's going to keep your levels constant. Where with the Snicker bar, you're going to get a spike where you'll get that quick
Yeah.
burst of energy and then a come down. So
Yeah.
keep it with that honey, bro. Very, very
Yeah.
smart. Before we used to do photo shoots, that's what we would do. We would do a spoon of honey, and that would get you through the whole photo shoot, and you'd still be shredded and ripped. So very smart.